I remember when I was a little girl, I would always play teacher with my teddy bears and would always waste paper because I loved to pretend it was assignments given to the students. As I grew older, I continued not to think about what I wanted to do until my junior year of high school. While everyone was set on a career or major, I was lost. I still did not know what I wanted to do. I tried lawyer, but it did not feel right, so I changed to social worker, but it just wasn't for me. I then proceeded to try a pediatric oncology nurse, but I did not have the strength to continue forward with that major. I then decided to open up my own daycare, but after seeing the competitions of daycares, I lost interest. At this point in time, I was frustrated. I was angry at myself for not being able to decide what I wanted to do. For the rest of my junior year, I bounced around between careers and pictured myself doing these jobs, but at the end, I couldn't think of anything. I was so exhausted and tired that I couldn't find something that fit me, so I searched up careers for me and a bunch of quizzes popped up. Now I thought, why not give it a try? The first quiz mentioned to be a social worker, as my personality shows that I like to help others. Quizzes 2 through 8 were to become a teacher. After that day, I kept that in my mind. If it is something I see myself doing. In the beginning of my senior year, teachers asked us if we have yet decided what careers we're going to pursue, and I was again lost. It wasn't until my counselor asked me what I like to do. That was simple. I love to help others, and I love children. At this point, I connected all common interests of the careers I wanted to do, and they all included working with children. Being a teacher was now on my list, but I was not sure if it was something I wanted to do. During that spring break, my sister asked me if I can babysit my niece, and I agreed. With those 2 weeks, I taught her how to count, her colors, her pronouns. I loved it. I genuinely pictured myself becoming a teacher for younger children. To this day, I am 100% sure that this is a career I want to pursue. Becoming an educator is something special to me, as I want to motivate and teach students to continue forward. I want to teach them not to be afraid of who they are, but how to embrace their personalities into their academics. Most schools try to make children all the same by teaching them all alike, but that's not what I want to teach my students. I want them to be aware and understand how to incorporate themselves into schoolwork and activities. I am aware that in my classroom I hold future teachers, doctors, nurses, authors, policemen, EMTs, and many more, which also means that I will learn along with my students. I will learn their interests, their strengths, and weaknesses, and together we will strengthen those weaknesses to give students more opportunities. I want to do what I didn't do, and that is to get my students out of their comfort zone in order to get them to be more social and more confident. I want to teach my students to never doubt themselves and instead push themselves to continue as they are strong. I want to teach them not to try your best. I want to teach them that trying your best is more important than winning. My motivation came from past teachers. They taught me most of all of my knowledge I have today, and I wanted to give my students more knowledge than I received. My motivation came from my 4th grade and 5th grade teacher, Mr. Alvarado, who always inspired his students to continue forward no matter what someone says. A strategy that definitely improved the student focus on the material is that he gave us play money each time we answered a question correct, and at the end of the week he will auction toys or items. This taught us how to count, how to save, and how to be more confident. Not only is that, but he used a great strategy to get students' attention, and that is by selling and auctioning toys. While in Humanities 197, I learned a lot about myself and what I want my classroom to look like emotionally. I want to be a teacher that never says no, that will instead change the subject or steer their attention away from the situation, as I want them to know that I am not one to say negative words. I want them to trust me with everything and be someone they can come to when they are dealing with something. From this classroom, I also learned a lot about how I want to teach my students, and this is by keeping watch who needs more help and who needs to be challenged, and this is by observing. I've learned a lot about how I want to keep my classroom behaved, and that's by calmly approaching any situation with no judgment in order to not jump into conclusion and false accuse one.